This is a VR to Carrie's Mystical Musings, and it is hashtag my tarot identity. Okay, so we have number 1, outward aesthetic. My outward aesthetic is the Lighted Window Tarot, which I picked because it is, oops, trying to get my viewfinder sitting there. So I picked this because it is the colors that I really like. It's, you know, jewel tones, oranges, blues. It's also just very very straightforward, but not simplistic. It is a pip deck, but the pips do tell you stuff. And the pictures are just, they're kind of outdoorsy and warm. And so I'm just really, and I'm just loving all of the fire energy. So a hidden or guilty pleasure. That is totally Doreen Virtue's angel deck. There is something about this box, for one. There's just something about like this blue and just like, the art is just so kitschy, but there's just something so like relaxing and wonderful about it that like is just kind of totally a guilty pleasure. All right, number 3, a deck that matches my personality. That is the Lilifer Tarot. And let me just read you something quick from this book. It says, Lilifer is the bearer of the darkness we must face in order to know our light. It is a duality present in each of us asking to be recognized. Lilifer will never ask you to choose one over the other. You could be everything or none of it at all. Which just really sums up, I think, me. But also, like, I just love the color. And there's just something so, like, playful and cheeky and wonderful about this deck. So that's what I'm picking for that one. Number 4, fun fact or something unique. I am a Cancer rising, Taurus moon, Cancer sun, Scorpio rising, Taurus moon. So I thought, hey, let's try to find a deck that fits that. And I picked the Tarot of the Drowning World. And I picked this because all of the pictures are basically things buried in water, which, like, you got the Cancer and the Scorpio, the water, but just like, it's kind of creepy. The pictures are kind of creepy, so you get your sort of weird deathy Scorpio there, but it's so incredibly lush, and that is just totally Taurus. Like, really, that's just totally creepy. So just the lushness, the water, the creep factor, that is Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Scorpio rising, Taurus moon to me. Okay, number 5, my alter ego is definitely, and I'm unwrapping it from this really cool wrap, Ian Daniels' Vampire Tarot. Okay, and it is just so dramatic, so over the top, like full of like desire and lust and violence, and just, it's just so much that this deck is definitely what I at least want my alter ego to be, because it's probably a freaking pile of fun. Okay, so number 6, what would fit me as a bestie? That is going to be my favorite Wild Unknown deck, which I think, if I were represents me as a bestie, because it is both very like clear, fairly like simple, to the point, You know, it has a lot of gentleness to it in the animals, but it also, like, I'm trying to find one of the scarier cards. Like, it also will not pack a punch. You know, it'll tell you what you need to know. So that is what I would pick for me as a bestie. Number 7, where I would love to live or a dream vacation. That is going to be, and I'm sorry, I'm looking everywhere but the camera, the Dream of Nile Tarot, because I would absolutely love to go for a ride either up or down the Nile. I forget. I guess it would be down. I'm not sure. And visiting all of the temples, all of the sacred sites. But this is just Egypt. I really, really enjoy this deck. And I know some of the cards are upside down, but that is my vacation deck. On top of, I think, Alberto Villoldo just came out with a Shaman's Tarot, which was illustrated by a, I think, an Amazonian shaman, or at least someone from the area, and it just really reflects that whole area. I would love to go visit there. I totally would. Okay, number 8, a deck that brings out my creative side. That would be Gabi Angus-West's Tarot Avatara. And you cannot beat Miss Frida, the other Frida of the tarot here. You cannot beat her for creativity or an artist. And there's just something about the color and the sheer wildness of this deck that really makes me it makes me get to work and make connections, especially in writing, more so than painting. Okay, the landscape in my dreams. Okay, we are disturbingly going to go with the Bosch Tarot. I have really vivid, interesting dreams. They're always full of weird stuff. I mean, sometimes it's kind of normal, but you can never really tell what's gonna pop up. So it is kind of like, this whole world on the back of the cards where there's images and feelings and ideas. That's the world. And you never know, like maybe there's someone with a lamp on their head. So yeah, I have weird dreams, so we're going with that. Okay, and number 10, my life currently, that is the Phantom Wise Tarot, which I think may or may not be based on Erin Morgenstern's book, The Starless Sea, which I really, really loved. But right now I am writing a book and also editing 2 other books. And so my life is kind of full of those stories and going between stories. And this deck to me feels like being just in a storybook. The cards are just, it feels like the pages, that's probably upside down. They're always upside down, aren't they? It feels like the pages of a storybook. And, here's like the King of Cups, looks like a character in a novel. We've got, and my favorite card, like the 2 of Cups, the 2 little bunnies. So this book to me feels just like being immersed in a story, which is very much where I am right now. So those are my 10 contributions to hashtag my tarot identity.